Hello everybody, Mrs. Jones here from Croes-y-Parc Chapel. How lovely to see you and welcome to everyone who's new. It's a big week, isn't it? New school, back to new things, and maybe a lot of things have changed for you over the summer. You know, one big change in my family was the exciting arrival of my niece. This is my very first ever niece. I'm going to show you a little picture of her. Here she is. Oh, isn't she lovely? And one thing when have a baby is you've got to decide on a name. Big decision. So this little bundle of cuteness, my brother and his wife are called Sophie Fleur. And they chose the name. Why did they choose the name? Well, Sophie, I think they just liked the sound of the name. And Fleur they named after a very good friend of theirs. So I wonder if you know why your parents called you by your name. Do you know? Was it because they liked it? Was it after someone they liked? Or is it because of what it means? Because a lot of our names actually have meanings, don't they? I don't know if you know what your name means. So Sophie, I know, comes from the Greek word for wisdom. So I'm hoping Sophie will grow up to be very wise indeed. What else do we know about names? If you are an Alex or an Alexandra, that comes from the Greek for defender of the people. If you are an Emily, that means your name meant to strive, to excel, to be really good at something. If you were a Charlotte, that comes from the French and a French word to be free. And Thomas, if you are a Thomas, well, I wonder, are you a twin? Because that is what the name in Greek, I think, meant, was a twin, was Thomas. So our names might tell us something about us, or they might be just names that are given to us. And sometimes people are given nicknames, aren't they? Do we know who this man is? That's right, this is Bear Grylls. Well, Bear Grylls. Bear isn't his real name. Bear was a nickname, apparently, that his little sister gave to him when he was just 1 week old, his older sister. His name is actually Edward Grylls. But he's just stuck with his nickname. Do we know who this is? That's right, this is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And he's got a nickname. You can probably guess maybe why he's called The Rock, because he's massive. Now, in the Bible, we actually have lots of instances where people's names get changed by God or changed by Jesus. And usually it isn't just like a pet name or he just fancies a different change. He calls them by different names to represent maybe a big change in their life. So I want to talk a little bit about one particular chap in the Bible. He was one of Jesus's followers, one of his friends, his disciples, and he's called Simon. And he's got a brother called Andrew, and the two of them are fishermen. Now Simon, like many of the disciples, was pretty unremarkable. Nothing to look at, not a great big personality. And in fact, he was a bit sort of up and down. 1 minute he was wanting to take on the Romans, and the next he was running away scared because people thought he was a friend of Jesus. And yet Jesus said to Simon, I'm going to change your name. Now, do we know what he changed Simon's name to? It was the word Kephas in Aramaic, Kephas, which in Greek was Petros, and we translate that into Peter. And the Petros word means rock. So not because he looked like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, but rock because they would think of a rock as something really strong, steady, firm, something you could build on. And that is exactly what Jesus had in mind when he gave him this name, because he said, on you, Cephas, on you, Peter, I will build my church. Now, maybe Peter scratched his head a little bit and thought, hang on, I'm a fisherman, I'm not a builder. I don't really know anything about carpentry, but no, that's not what he meant. He didn't mean he was actually going to build on top of Peter or his house or whatever. But what he meant was that Peter would be like the #1 person to start this church. This church that would grow. Jesus knew that he wasn't going to be around to make the church grow, and he was going to need his disciples to do it. And he entrusted Peter with the job of being that mainstay. And he did it. In the future, he became so bold, and he would travel all around Jerusalem telling the Jews, you've got it wrong about Jesus. He is amazing. He is the Son of God. And what I absolutely love about this story is that when Jesus told Peter he was going to change his name, when he was just called Simon, there was nothing remarkable about him. There was nothing which indicated that he could be this great forerunner of the church, the person who was really going to get the church growing. But Jesus did know. He knew about the change that was going to come in Simon, and that he really would live up to his name of Peter the Rock. So I just wanted to say to you guys, if you're feeling a bit stressed coming back to school, you're thinking, oh, I can't remember my times tables, and I haven't picked up a pen all summer, and I can't remember how to read. Don't worry. Things can change at any time for us. And with God's help, he can really transform us. He can get us to reach our potential. We can all become Peters for God. And what can help us to reach our potential is just spending more time with God, getting to know God, hearing from him, listening to him, finding out all the amazing things he's done and what we can do to be a part of his plans in the future, just like Peter was a part of his plans. And guys, I want to invite you all to come along to my youth club jam that we run every Monday. It's going to start next Monday, through 4:45 to 5:45. It's a great fun week. If you came along to a holiday club, it's just like that. We have games, crafts, stories, singing, lots of fun to be had. So come along, and maybe this will help you on your journey to reach your potential. And one last thing, we've been talking about name changes, but why don't we have a name change? Because you all know me as Mrs. Jones, which is slightly weird because I'm not a teacher. The kids at Jam know me as Jill. So from now on, you can call me Jill too. And I hope to see you soon. Bye, everyone.